morning to temporarily block new deportations of Venezuelans being held in Texas.
They're now telling the Trump administration not to remove any Venezuelans under the Alien Enemies Act, quote, until further order from this court.
And
Justices, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Important to note, Justices Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito dissented from the decision, and this comes after the High Court ruled earlier this month that deportations of Tren de Aragua gang members and others could continue, but only if those about to be removed had a chance to argue their case.
What do you guys think?
I mean, it's kind of, I get a little bit, I love the idea of the courts making sure that the process is all done properly. But you're talking about national security. You're talking about President Trump is at his highest authority right now. He's just won an election on this issue. You're talking about people who have been declared actual terrorists, part of a terrorist organization, and the idea that the courts are doing this, it makes me very squeamish. It's a heck of a battle between two branches of government.
You bring up such a great point, Charlie. If we were having this debate about could we send, and by the way, I asked Donald Trump this question during my interview with him this past week, can we use, are these prisons in another country, are they going to be used for our most violent criminals, our terrorists, homegrown, as he called it, American-born, bad guys that can be sent over there because it'll be cheaper and it's safer for our people to have them over there? That's a great constitutional question.
Right.
I cannot believe that we're having a constitutional crisis over whether to send Tren de Aragua or MS-13 terrorists back to their own country. I mean, I think about January 6th. This Senator Van Hollen, he never went and visited the people in the prisons in D.C., but he'll fly all the way to El Salvador for an MS-13 gang member, Emily.
And it sort of makes you question, who are your constituents?
Right.
And you phrase this to the Democrat Party because obviously in, for example, the White House post yesterday where they put out the two photos, they said there can be no starker contrast between Senator Van Hollen visiting this individual in El Salvador and then the White House visiting with the Angel family, the mother of Rachel Moore and Patty Morin. And look, I want everyone to understand, too, that this decision, it was brief, it was unsigned, it was one sentence where the Supreme Court said the government is directed not to remove any member of this putative class of detainees until further of the court. So we don't have a reasoning behind it, and this, I think, is simply procedural because the lawyers on behalf of the detainees were arguing that they're at imminent risk of removal without the judicial review mandated by the court prior. So we talked about this. It's not due process. It's judicial review. It's likely around a 30-day waiting period and say, look, just make sure everyone gets a double check before they're sent away. Look, fine. And at the end of the day, I think that behooves everyone. But I agree with you that the constitutional questions here, they should be decided in favor of the Americans. Yeah. And when we look at these political and photographic stunts, remember this when we go to the voting box in the midterm.
So is